How's it going, everybody? I'm Brian for Pop Culture Costing, and today we are talking about Dr. No. This 1962 movie functions as the first canonical James Bond film and is an adaptation of Ian Fleming's 1958 novel of the same name. Terrence Young's strong direction, coupled with Sean Connery's impressive inaugural performance as the super spy, really laid the foundation for one of Hollywood's most enduring franchises. In short, if you're looking for an entertaining spy film set in the 1960s, then you will not want to miss Dr. No. When a UK contact is assassinated in Jamaica, British intelligence officials believe that the murder may be related to a Caribbean-based missile sabotage operation. Their top spy, James Bond, also known as 007, is sent to investigate. When he arrives, he learns that the locals are afraid of a mysterious island called Crab Key, which is run by a shadowy individual called Dr. No. It seems ideal that someone engaged in nefarious activity would create a myth of fear around themselves, so naturally Bond decides to shift his focus and learn all that he can about the elusive man, Dr. No. The movie's pacing is pretty balanced, from the tone-setting opening sequence to Bond's iconic reveal to his interactions with others as his mission develops. It all evolves quite naturally. Some may not like the tedious aspects of Bond traveling to and from his local contacts, his hotel, and a government site, but these really illustrate his routine and methods. And I appreciated that the film included these aspects and did not merely focus on the action. In that regard, Dr. No is not some action-packed movie that we think of in the modern age of 2017, especially compared to the Daniel Craig Bond movies. So if you're thinking it's going to be like that, you definitely want to temper your expectations. Nevertheless, these elements do focus on Bond's acuity in gaining people's trust and forming a team of diverse individuals. Tonally, the film is best described as being a spy and mystery flick. The spy elements are executed well and provide a glimpse into the tactics used at the time. The sabotage of the West's missile launches and the curious Crab Key all create and fuel the inner mystery of the film. It would have been nice, however, to have more explanation regarding the sabotage. Unfortunately, Bond's misogynism also informs the film's tone. The way in which he forcefully talks with a female character in one scene is sharply contrasted with his understanding demeanor of his male counterparts. Further, 007 is a well-known philanderer and womanizer, and this trait is no secret to those familiar with the character and the movies or the books, but if you're new to it, then you'll definitely want to be made aware of that. And this misogynist element is also seen from the macro level of the film, in that the female characters have unnatural, innuendo-laced names. Dr. No's performances are great. Sean Connery's role as James Bond is iconic, and the actor does a terrific job in assuming the role. His slick, cool reveal is simply classic, and he has great on-screen chemistry with his supporting cast members, and it's really fun to watch him work as a team with others. One tense sequence is really complemented by excellent music, and that was particularly memorable. In general, Sean Connery has good delivery of his dialogue despite some cringeworthy lines and campy one-liners. Nevertheless, there are 2 times in which he says, "I'm hungry." And the way in which he does this should have been reshot. Instead of sounding like the cool, debonair spy that he is, he really sounds whiny and puerile. Ursula Andress does a good job in her role as the main Bond girl honey rider, like I told you about the names. It's great to see Ryder not take any chances, and she actually pulls her diving knife on Bond. This illustrates her independent qualities and the fact that she can take care of herself, as she has been throughout her numerous illegal trips to Crab Key. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to Eunice Gayson's Sylvia Trench, who is only in a few scenes, but the ones she is in, she completely steals. Sylvia Trench is kind of Bond's girlfriend back in the UK for the first 2 movies, and then she's forgotten, and she's really an underrated character in the movies, and I just want to give a shout out to her there. Joseph Wiseman's performance as the titular character, Dr. No, is fun to watch. Wiseman and the cinematography effectively capitalize on Dr. No's enigmatic aura. Additionally, he provides a surprising amount of backstory, which really helps flesh out his character, and this is appreciated as it prevents him from being a one-dimensional character. Jack Lord's Felix Leiter and John Kitzmiller's Quarrel are great additions. Leiter is a CIA agent whose cool demeanor complements Bond's without overshadowing him, and the way in which Kitzmiller does a complete reversal in his character development is quite well done. And the team dynamic formed by Lord, Kitzmiller, and Connery is a lot of fun to watch on screen. Bernard Lee's first performance as M, Bond's supervisor, is well done and nicely establishes his presence in the role. Lois Maxwell's Miss Moneypenny, M's secretary, adds a nice balance and playful lightheartedness to the movie. Although they have limited screen time, it is entertaining to watch and provide Bond with the context and objectives of his mission and then send him on its way. And watching Miss Moneypenny and Bond jest is also entertaining, especially since M is wise to their conversations. They think that they're flirting in secret, but M knows what they're talking about. Lee and Maxwell do an excellent job absorbing their respective characters, ones they would personify for 11 and 14 films respectively. The cinematography and editing is good overall, however, there are a few minor technical critiques. In M's office, a noticeable lighting glare can be seen in one of the pictures, and the prop should have either been moved or they should have recomposed the shot, and that could have been avoided. On the editing side, there's a scene when a character dies that's really quite choppy and abrupt, and it's like, well, okay, that happened right there. And there's also something with the audio when two characters are having a conversation inside. One of the characters' audio is hollow and echoey and really odd, and all three of these instances are minor but avoidable. The production design is wonderful. The sets and wardrobe reflect the tropical setting in the 1960s. Not surprisingly, the production design is closely related to the spy aesthetic, and Crab Key's living quarters and operational branch look great, and the set models and dioramas used are impressive and hold up well today. And I especially like Crab Key's offices and room areas. Being the first in the series, Dr. No lacks some features that would become hallmarks of the Bond franchise, namely gadgets and sporty vehicles. Some viewers, like I mentioned at the beginning with the pace, with the Bond going to and from places, this may also upset some viewers and be mundane and kind of take away from the fun elements of the film. But instead of slowing the pace or inhibiting the fun of the overall story, I really liked it and thought that it was fun as it caused Bond to use more analog solutions with everyday objects as opposed to relying on tools that will do it all for you. Likewise, there's no instantaneous way in which Bond can get a hold of his superiors. Rather, he gains his insight from those at the government office or his contacts that he makes once he hits the ground. I found this and the lack of gadgets to actually be compelling, and it's an aspect that not only makes Dr. No unique in the Bond franchise, but in the genre of spy films as a whole. Though Dr. No is passé in some other areas, the lack of these gadgets really precludes Dr. No from being super outdated or obsolete, and as such, it is a good go-to movie if you're looking for a classic spy movie without all the bells and whistles. The wardrobe is great, yet it is deserving of some criticism. There are several scenes in which both Bond and Leiter are shown on the beach in their suits and ties, and this really makes them both look conspicuous, and though they do look nice in their suits, I have to say, but it really juxtaposes their professions as being super spies. It's not until later in the film that both of the characters actually get more suitable, functional clothing. Similarly, the lack of camouflage is noticeable. I'm not saying that the characters need to be running around in military fatigues or anything, but bright blue, red, and white clothes are not the best when you're trying to blend into tropical flora. And softer, darker color palettes consisting of beiges, navies, olives, or maroons would have been more effective while maintaining the stylish look. And despite this, the striking colors did look great on camera, but it's just not believable given the context of the story. Terrence Young's direction of Dr. No is very strong. Perhaps most importantly, he was able to effectively bring Bond to life on the silver screen. And he was able to establish the groundwork for a genre that would be respected as well as imitated and satirized down the road. Despite minor incongruities in the dialogue, cinematography, editing, audio, and wardrobe, the final package is still very impressive and a lot of fun to watch. The strong performances Young derives from his actors is remarkable, especially considering this movie was a springboard for striking, remarkable, monolithic roles, and the chic title sequence mixed with Bond's persona and the overall style are very well done. In the end, Dr. No is a great foundational film for the Bond franchise. It stands well on its own and fits comfortably into the lore as a whole. Generally, Young's creative decisions have helped it age well, and Connery's urbane performance as the suave super spy is a highlight. If you're looking for an enjoyable retro spy film, or if you want to watch an espionage picture that really doesn't have all the frills, the gadgets that would really shape the genre in the future, then you would most likely enjoy Dr. No. And it's actually one of the Bond films that I really enjoy revisiting. So that's my review of Dr. No. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below and across our social media channels. As always, our full detailed written review is available at popculturecrossing.com. And I also want to thank you for following me if you have, or if this is your first time watching, thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed it, I would appreciate if you would consider subscribing or following us on social media. Even if you say prefer reading our text reviews or watching our YouTube videos, if you could, subscribe and follow us across the different platforms like iTunes, Google Play, what have you, that would really help us gain more visibility. But I definitely appreciate your support. In the meantime, why don't you let me know what your favorite James Bond movie is, as well as what your favorite movie in the spy genre is, outside of the Bond franchise, or if it is a Bond film, then let me know that as well. I look forward to hearing what you have to say there, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.